Hello, White Sox fans, and welcome to another edition of the FutureSox podcast, part of the Just Baseball Media Network. My name is Ian Eskridge. That is James Fox. How are you, James?
Good, man. What's up?
Not a whole lot. Tonight, we're going to get into our experience at SoxFest, some NRIs, a nice, interesting trade to go over, um, and a couple other things. Just couple of things to fill the time slot, the allotted time slot tonight. Um, so SoxFest. You were there on Saturday, not on Friday. Friday was mostly media availability, and Elijah and I talked to some of the guys, and then it was more or less, the standard SoxFest dog and pony show. But Saturday, things opened up for us with a podcast. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that was cool. I mean, obviously, it's a little bit hectic for you at the beginning, like getting us all set up. But by the time Paul Yanish was walking over, I had my microphone ready to go. So we prepped for a few names that they gave us, which was interesting, and then we pivoted and got Mike Shirley and Connor McKnight as well, which was awesome. I love talking to those guys, but you're just trying to, man. It seems like it's like sometimes it kind of like reminds me of teaching a little bit, where it's like, oh yeah, 15 minutes, no problem, and then it's like,
Yeah.
man, like what else are we gonna ask this guy? Like, you're just kind of like, you think you have all these questions, and then you're looking at the clock and you have like 8 minutes left and you've asked all the questions, and it's like, okay, well, we can ask him some obscure stuff. So I do think we asked those guys probably the most obscure stuff of anyone. We're like
Yeah, for
we're
sure.
like peppering Paul Yanish with questions on Matthias Lacombe and Eli. I think I asked Mike Shirley about Eli Brown. I mean, so that should be in our podcast feed tomorrow and on
Yep.
YouTube, right? So
Yep.
yeah, you can like listen to all those. That was fun. Yeah, and then after that, I mean, it's Soxfest is just so different now, where it's like, I mean, the old school panels with Ken Williams and those were fun, and then you go and you listen to like the farm director talk or whatever was cool. I'm just not huge into hearing about like all these guys' favorite like restaurants and video games and stuff. It's fine, but it's like not really my thing.
Yeah, the goofy panels, like I mean, it provided some content for Twitter, with the Paul Skeens Grant Taylor thing. That was mildly entertaining. Kyle Teal playing the acoustic guitar with the band the night before was, once again entertaining. I mean, there are some fun things that happen on those, on those things, but for the most part, like it's stuff that it's like the, hey, let's introduce you to this player. This is, the kind of, we're going to help you um, get to know the player better.
Yeah.
When it's like, to who that's important. Like, it's important to some people not so much. I'm going to bring this up. Super chat from Ron Davis. Thanks, Ron, appreciate it. Says, I'm ready for the season, fellas. I live in Arizona and actually excited to check out spring training. Very good. James will be down there for a few
I'm
days.
going a couple days. Yeah, March 13th, 14th, 15th. I'll be there for like a weekend. So sure I'll
Yeah.
be out. I'm sure I'll be out and about.
Yeah, and Elijah will be down there. AAA Jeff will be down there for a few days. I talked to him today actually, so that was nice talking to him. It's been a minute. Uh, so Kerry brings up, did you see the storm that hit Charlotte over the last couple of days?
I did not, but that
It is
sounds terrible.
insane. Yeah, they got like 14 inches of snow. Yesterday, right outside of Kannapolis, there was like 100-car pileup on I-85. I mean, it's just like that place got hit hard, and
Yeah,
they're not,
people don't know what to do down there.
Yeah. I mean, it's like nobody's got snow tires.
You don't budget for it either. Like the
Yeah.
government, I mean, it's like if it's gonna happen once a decade, right? Like it's it's like, all right, well, sorry, we don't have any salt, so just stay inside.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So all the guys are mentioning the Till and Cease trade. We'll get to that in a little bit when we talk about the Jordan Hicks trade.
Yeah, I mean, the Dylan Cease trade
Um,
didn't get worse today.
no.
Like I don't know why DFAing a guy matters. He's still bad. He was bad before. Like it's no worse today than it was. Yeah, it's actually better because I think they can get him through waivers and not be on the 40 man anymore. But we'll
Yeah.
get to it. That's fine.
Yeah, that would indeed be a better place for him at this point with the skill set he's shown in the last year and a half. It has not been pretty. Um, yeah, so I don't is there are there any like big takeaways for you from the three interviews? Because you were with Giannis, Mike Shirley, and Connor McKnight. Is there any big takeaways for you from those?
I mean, Giannis, I think was just like had answers on everybody. I think I mean, I want people to go back and listen, but him talking about Matthew Boughton was interesting. He had a note on him that people should go listen to. I was kind of perked up, like, oh, that's interesting that you brought that up out of nowhere. One thing that I will say that's like kind of funny, and I didn't tweet this today, but so when we talked to Mike Shirley, he walks up at the beginning and he kind of talked about like the preconceived notion of like the top player. Everybody knows Rock Chalowski, right? So we didn't really talk to Mike about Rock Chalowski. Like we weren't like, are you taking him? Give us a scouting report. We kind of just like went on to other stuff with him. Um, because he like clearly didn't really want to talk about it, which is funny because then when we were at the 108 event, right, there was like a panel with Brooks Boyer. And look, obviously, like I've had my fair share of like criticism for Brooks Boyer over the years, but I think he was pretty good last night.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, I mean Brooks was a man of the people and answering questions, and he was funny, and it's not easy being, you know, the head of sales and marketing for a Jerry Reinsdorf club, I would imagine. So he was funny. But one of the things he asked the 108 guys like something about if you could take any player from like the division, like from a division rival, like something like that. And I think Sharizi said like, oh well, Scuba would be like cheating, and somebody said Bobby Wood Jr., and yeah, remember this? And immediately Brooks Boyer goes, how about Rock Chalowski? And it's Brooks Boyer saying it, which
Yeah,
I think is relevant because like Brooks is a baseball guy. Like he's not just this like marketing guy that knows nothing, right? But when the marketing guy's already talking about Rock Chalowski 7 months in advance, I was kind of like, oh, that's interesting. All right, Brooks, I see you. What number is he gonna wear?
you know, um, yeah. I mean, it's kind of one of those things. I think that everybody is under the impression that it's just a foregone conclusion at this point. But I mean, as you know, like when we talked to Shirley, you heard what he said. You have to do your due diligence and check out everybody else to make sure that you're making the right decision. We'll see how that goes as the year progresses here. Um,
Yeah, for sure. Um, so there are some questions in here that we can answer if we want before we. Um, so one of the
which one you?
first, so well, one of the first ones was about Eugenio Suarez. Like, I really don't think the Sox were like in on that. I mean, it's a righty corner guy, tons of power, obviously, but it's like a lot of strikeouts and bad defense. I mean, they have Murakami at first. Like they weren't gonna do like two of those signings. I was kind of surprised it was Cincinnati. I was really hoping he was gonna go to Pittsburgh because I don't really have a second team, but like my wife and family on that side likes the Pirates, and like that would have been cool. Like, but he'll
Yeah,
probably hit a bunch of bombs on a Great American Ballpark. So
yeah. So I mean, what apparently I saw something about that right before we hopped on is that apparently the Pirates offered him the same AAV. It's just that Suarez
he thinks
decided
Cincy's
that
gonna be better. Yeah.
it was a better park for him to play in, which I have
Mhm.
to agree. I mean, if
Yep.
you're trying to hit home runs, the place you want to be is the Great American
Oh
Ballpark.
yeah.
That place is a launching
Well, and
pad.
he started there too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, I don't know if he started there, but that's where I
that was
remember him
yeah. I
first
think
from.
I
So
think that was his first place. And then also, what do we have? Doug here talking about how he doesn't like some of the guys they're getting rid of. Look, man, I mean the 40's tight, man. Like it's and some of these guys just they don't pan out. Like Chris Getz has not been afraid to churn, like churn baby churn. The old front office did not do this. They would just sit on a guy for years until they were terrible and then they'd like leave for nothing. So we'll get into the moves over the past couple days here in a minute and we'll kind of talk about that. But yeah, no, as far as so another Sox Fest, I do think like that venue, obviously, we talked about this last night. Like if they ever get good again, I feel like they're gonna need something bigger than that. I wouldn't anticipate there being a Sox Fest next January, like in the midst of a lockout, most
We'll
likely.
see. Yeah.
So you're looking at 2028 probably, like in a new bigger venue, like when Rock Chalowski's your shortstop and all these other guys are awesome.
Yeah. I mean, like the weird thing is like we look at it, through our scope and we say that, you know, that venue is probably a little too small. But I mean, they still had tickets left over. I mean, I don't know exactly what for an event like that, it's going to be a different capacity than for like a concert. I wonder like how close they were to being at capacity for how they wanted to run things. I felt like it was less busy this year than it was last year. I mean, does that seem about right to you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, last year seemed busier for sure, especially because that whole upstairs room I feel like was more full last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as James brings up, he says no chairs on the main floor. This time they didn't have like all those tables set up and everything like they did last year. So maybe I'm skewed just by that. But I felt like they said it sold out last year. So oh, Adrian coming in with this one.
Yeah, Francis has it. Francis Romero says the Orioles have acquired third baseman Brian Ramos.
Acquired.
So Mike, I wonder if that's for cash. Maybe we'll find out.
Hmm. Interesting. Well, Brian Ramos,
Where the
uh,
heck is he going to play on that team?
the Norfolk Tides.
Well, he's out of options.
Yeah, I know.
Oh.
I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens there. Uh Row checks in, says time to move to a bigger venue. Sorry I missed you yesterday. I was looking for you at SoxFest, but I did not see you and I did not see you at the 108, although I did see your pictures at the 108. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see as far as the SoxFest thing goes. I mean, I kind of have to imagine that they're probably going to change venues going into the next SoxFest because, people are going to expect Rock to be paraded out there, and everybody's going to want to come and see their new pet. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, right.
so
People are
um,
liking Colson. He's taken on the role of, and Teal is funny and people like Grant Taylor had some personality. One guy that we kind of knew, I mean, Tanner's going to be good at this. Like he's going to be a fan favorite if he's good, obviously, right?
yeah,
Like so he was pretty good last night. Yeah, seeing the young guys around was it's just cool. That part's fun, but just the whole kind of vibe of like what they're trying to do and like make it this like family rock event or like I don't know. That's just really like not really for me.
yeah, it's kind of one of those things. All right, so when you used to do it at like when you used to do it at the convention center or you used to do it at a hotel and you had everything completely segregated and you could have a band in, the main area, and then you could have a bunch of autograph areas, and then you could have, like a restaurant area, and then you had your separated panels where it was like inside an enclosed room. I feel like that was a little bit more conducive for doing like things the way that they
Uh-huh.
like. I just don't think it transfers to doing it at a music venue, you know? Uh for me anyway. Like to me it seems like a little bit just like a little too all compacted into one spot,
Yeah,
even though
yeah.
they did have two different levels.
Yeah, it
So,
was just kind of so we'll see. We'll see how it goes like from here on out. I think one night was probably fine. I think last year it was two nights. They didn't do the season ticket event last year. It was just like a two-night
right,
thing for everyone.
right.
So, yep, so that was the part that was a little bit
When did they
different,
do the
but
Field Museum? Was that 2 years ago?
no, they've always done that, but that was like separate. It wasn't right now. It's like at a different
Oh,
time.
okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, it's like at a different time. That's like yeah, the Sox season ticket like event thing. So, but yeah, I mean, other than that, there's been a lot of news. Remember, like there was like a lot of conjecture about like trading Luis Robert and if they would reallocate the money. Well, the money's been reallocated, it seems.
It has. So there was Another interesting trade today. The White Sox pick up Jordan Hicks from the Red Sox with David Sandlin and two players to be named later, and some money
Yeah,
for Gage Ziehl
and a
and
player to be named later.
a player to be named later. So
How
Elijah.
worried are you about that?
I feel
I'm always worried about player to be named later. It's like, oh no, like, oh no, who's it gonna be? Like, it's like
well.
Yoiker
I mean,
Fajardo. Like,
yeah,
yeah, you're just who's my
exactly.
favorite DSL pitcher? That's who it's gonna be.
Yeah, that one didn't pan out so well, but um, I mean,
Yeah,
they said, "Oh, we're not going to miss Yoiker Fajardo," and
I
I
know.
I saw him pitch against the Cannonballers, and to be fair, like when I saw him pitch, I was like, "Yeah, he's okay," but like it wasn't to me, it wasn't like one of those things where I looked at him and went, "Oh, okay, they screwed up big time letting him go," you know?
Yeah, no, he doesn't throw hard. So he's like a backwards pitcher. So he's gonna have to figure that. I mean, even like I was a fan of Christian Mena, right? That didn't bite him either. He just
Yeah,
like some of the issues he had, he still hasn't been able to correct. So, like I don't necessarily think to me, like the bigger issue was like you should have traded him for something better. You should have just like waited and not made a trade for a 33-year-old lefty reliever. But you know,
oh,
so we don't have to get into that part of it. So
no, yeah,
so even before this, I think the talk was, well, what do you spend on, right? And we still haven't seen like a veteran starting pitcher edition. Um, I've heard them linked to Zach Littell, but like I don't know how much they're gonna spend or how much more. You know what I mean? So I don't know if this was like just their move and then they're just gonna patch together that fifth spot. I know Elijah's kind of talked about that. Um, but Saturday morning, they signed Austin Hayes. So that was like the
they
first
did.
of these moves was Austin
Yep.
Hayes. He should get pretty much every day playing time. I don't know how great he is like in right field. He's been left field. He's really good against lefties. League average against righties, but I mean, it's they needed a veteran outfielder that could just start. So $5 million for Austin Hayes, I think is that's decent. That's a good one. We don't that move's not official, so we don't have the 40-man move for that.
Yeah. That's the one that I'm interested in. I know who Elijah's rooting for, but like I've been thinking that Hudson would be the guy, but as we had this talk the other either yesterday or I talked to Elijah about it, and he did have a good year a couple years ago. So there is some promise there, that you hope that he could be a useful addition. But I don't know. We'll see. That the 40 man is getting very tight, and this is another one of those things where you look at the Benintendi thing, and it's just another time where you go, he's really clogging up the roster, and you kind of wonder what's going to happen. I can I'm have to imagine that they're trying really hard to get rid of him without
Y-
eating a bunch of money.
Yeah, you would think so. I mean, I mean, honestly, like everybody kind of talks about Sosa and how it's inevitable that he's going to end up somewhere, but like if you could dump Benintendi, then you could just keep Sosa and let Sosa DH. But it just doesn't really seem like part of the plan. But it also doesn't seem like they want to play Benintendi in the outfield. So if he's the DH, there goes your two catcher plan, right? And all the other flexibility that you were going to use, like in the DH spot. So, yeah, I mean, Andrew Benintendi at this point is basically more of a nuisance than than anything like roster
Yeah,
related. But so, I mean, I kind of feel like they're done in the outfield. Like you'll have Austin Hayes in a corner. I think Acuna gets most of the run in center, and then you'll have like a mixture of Benintendi and Baldwin and Everson Pereira like on the team too. And I think that's probably it until you're building a bridge to Braden Montgomery essentially.
yeah, that sounds about right. So did you see this tweet that Chuck put out earlier today? Said that the Lubob trade is Lubob and Gage Zeal for Acuna, Truman Pauly, Sir Anthony Dominguez, Austin Hayes, Jordan Hicks, David Sandelin, and Cash. Do you like? I kind of think that looking at it that way is, I mean, yeah, that's the exchange that was made, but I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
To
I mean
me, I'm
to
like,
me it's I mean to me it's like Sure, because like they clearly weren't able to spend like that $20 million without trading Luis Robert. I think the counter is like you could have kept Luis Robert and done all this other stuff still, right? The only thing that they really got back was Acuna and Paulie. But the obviously, yeah, like they weren't going to do that. I think the more interesting thing is like they turned a half season of Austin Slater into like the guys that you got today, right? So because Austin Slater was traded straight up for Gage Ziehl. So it's basically like you get Austin Slater for a half of a season and then you turn him into David what's his name?
Sandlin.
David
Yeah.
Sandlin essentially, right? And then a reduced price too for I mean because what Boston ate $8 million. So
Yeah.
it's interesting.
I
So yeah, I mean
they
like we
had to have like how badly did they want to get rid of Hicks
well, and I think they're up
to
against the
do that?
tax too, so it's like more money for them. It was like
True.
their luxury tax number on him was $12 million. Now it's $4 million, which is probably helpful for them because they can take that 8 plus whatever else they had and sign someone, I guess. But yeah, I mean it's like a reduced price Jordan Hicks, and like if you're gonna put Jordan Hicks back in the bullpen, well, like that works for me because I mean look he could be good next year. I mean bullpen guys are a little bit volatile, obviously. So one
Yeah.
other mistake, like I thought Bannister was there when they acquired him, but Bannister was already with the Sox by then. So there's like no link. It's just maybe they kind of think Jordan Hicks at 2 years and 17 million is like a value.
Yeah. And baseball brings up he's surprised that the Red Sox didn't offer for Suarez. And I think that 100% has to do with, I mean, you've got somebody that plays his position in defensively, but then also, you're looking at that luxury tax. They're trying to get under that luxury tax threshold, and signing Suarez is not going to help with that for sure.
No, and it just seems like they've been in on like defensive infielders, right? Like they've talked about Brendan Donovan. I know they've talked to the Cubs about Matt Shaw and Nico Horner. It just doesn't seem like I mean Suarez's market was not great because it's just a ton of Ks and pretty bad defense. I mean, it sounds like the Reds are gonna like have him be DH primarily, and that's just not what Boston's looking to do. They've been rumored with Isaac Paredes too. So yeah, my guess is like there's another move coming for the Red Sox, but I'm not that surprised that it wasn't Suarez.
Yeah. So, was it yeah, so Kev brings up, is it the walk rate with Sandlin that's the hang up? So my personal opinion is that if you look at Sandlin's numbers, um, it looks like to me that his strikeout to walk percentage was pretty good until he hit AAA. And that's that magic thing where you get the different baseball. You get the challenge system, the ABS challenge system, and sometimes depending on the park and depending on the day, it is a complete robo ump game. It's a that's a game changer, and it makes it tough. Like it's a tough transition, Double A to Triple A, especially in the International League. Um, so I don't know as if I necessarily buy into that. I mean, you're looking at a guy with like a 98, 99 mile an hour fastball with some nasty stuff. We'll see what happens as far as his command goes. It takes a little while to get used to that baseball, and I don't know. To me, it's just like one of those things where, once again, I say, why are they playing with different baseballs? It makes no sense.
Well, it seems like he's struggled converting to relief a little bit too, right? So is what it said. Like Chris Getz mentioned today that he thinks David Sandlin could make starts for the White Sox this year,
Yeah,
which okay, so you add him to the pile with Tanner and those guys like in AAA. He was a former Royal. Baseball America had him as the 11th ranked prospect in Boston's system. And they just talk about obviously like how good his stuff is with results to match. He was as healthy as he's ever been like in 2025, but the results weren't as good obviously, like you kind of said. Um, but he had a 2.63 ERA in Birmingham, or not in Birmingham, in Double A for them. So, you know, the AAA struggles. Hopefully they've seen something. It is kind of strange. He's not like one of these big like extension guys. It's a three-quarter slot. Um, I feel like have you seen him throw? Like it's like his hand is like up high, like by his head, and it's not really like a Bannister type guy. So, there must be other people there that kind of like him. But yeah, you basically bought a prospect, right? This is like some of the stuff that we want the White Sox to do. It's like, okay, yeah, we'll take a reduced Jordan Hicks off your hands, but you're going to send us somebody that we actually like. And David Samlin should have, he's immediately a top 15 prospect in the system. He's close to the big leagues. I think in a perfect world, he is a high leverage relief arm that's like really good. And then I think the trade's fine. And you can turn Hicks around hopefully and get something out of him too. So it's a little bit interesting. I think they're a starting pitcher short still, and we can get to that too.
Yeah. So Adrian brings up that Chris Cotillo said the Red Sox started with leisure in the trade. I would assume that would change the deal there, that they'd
Oh,
probably eat some more money, I would
quite a bit.
imagine.
I mean, yeah, and probably like more better prospects, right? Like than Sandlin, I would think. Look, I think I said like
Roman Anthony?
in the group chat, yeah. Like I'm not opposed to trading Jordan Leisure because I just would always trade relievers, but I'm not doing it now to the Red Sox. No, thank you.
Yeah. So it was asked in chat, Jacob, our own Jacob Thome,
Thome.
asked if Sandlin's similar to McDougal. Not, I mean, they both throw hard. They're both right-handed. I mean, that's pretty much where you're at with that. Different pitch mix, and I think that I want to say that Tanner's stuff is a little bit better, although the sweeper is really nice from Sandlin. I think. I don't
Yeah,
know. We'll
Tanner's
see.
got more of a track record for sure. I think Tanner's stuff is better. I think Tanner's
I do.
more likely to
Yeah.
stay in the rotation than Sandlin. But I mean, look, the White Sox think that they got a guy who they think could potentially start. So
Yeah. No, for sure.
yes, Doug.
Um,
Yes, Doug. It was an extremely long weekend.
it was a lot
We were
that
up
pr- that
late, so
that podcast row thing, that thing put me out for a little bit. Um, yeah, so I don't know. So when we grabbed Jordan Hicks, like, what do you think? Because he's started games as well, and did that for the Giants and
yeah.
the Red Sox last year. I think he kind of did some of that stuff. So do you think that he's also going to have the possibility of doing like the piggyback thing or something like that, where he's an opener
I
for
don't
like
may
for a Burke maybe, or something along those
Yeah,
lines?
maybe. I kind of want them to just like streamline him back to like what the Cardinals did. Be like, dude, you're pitching in the eighth inning, and you're going to be really good at it. And then it gives you, look, I think like I kind of like this because, I think the Sox are going to be probably not great, right? But I do think it's like a professional baseball team now. It's not like you're watching the Charlotte Knights and you got Jacob Amaya there. Like there's like guys that
I
are
enjoy watching the Charlotte Knights. Thank you.
not in Chicago, you don't
No,
though,
I don't.
and it's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, I think they can win any game. Now that doesn't mean they're going to win like 75 of them, right? But I just think like the product is going to be a lot better. And even if it's not great wins and losses wise, like you added a bunch of guys who you could potentially spin off for something else. Um, so yeah, I kind of think I like Hicks and Sean Newcomb if they're in the bullpen. I don't really like either if they're like the fifth starter. I don't really like that idea very much.
So, the White Sox went from having no closer, and I mean, unless you want to throw Grant Taylor into that mix, which we would prefer not to. We prefer to end up with him in the rotation at some point. But they've added Dominguez, Hicks, and I mean, possibly Sandlin if they're going to use him in relief. I don't know if he's going to be able to handle high leverage or not. I don't know what his
No, yeah.
mentality is, but
My guess is he's starting in Charlotte, at least to start, and then we'll figure out, where he goes after that. But yeah, no, I mean, a couple weeks ago, I thought their closer was going to be Jordan Leisure, and I didn't really like that idea. He was
yeah,
good down the stretch, but like I'd rather have Sir Anthony Dominguez do it with like a whole host of other guys. And, like you get in trouble, like you might want to bring Grant Taylor in the fourth inning and have
yeah,
him pitch 3 innings. That would be helpful for you, I feel like. So,
I
yeah.
would prefer for him to come into the first inning and pitch 3 or 4 innings.
Well, I think that's coming at some point. So
I would hope, yeah.
I do think the Sean Newcomb signing is like a really good one if he ends up like in a bullpen role. Um, I've seen it all over the internet. Like there's like some promise that he's gonna get a chance to start. I kind of just took that as like a nothing comment when they said that. Like, he yeah, sure, you're a starter in the spring training, but then there's like five guys better and you're going in the bullpen. Like
Yeah,
that's
that's
kind of
what's
how
gonna
I see
happen.
it, right.
Yeah.
Like I just because you have options at five, I just don't particularly love any of them. Like I would feel a lot better if Sean Burke was your five. And because like right now it's Jonathan Cannon and Jettix and Paez. And look, I mean, if you could guarantee me that it would be Tanner McDougal, I think I'd be great with that. But it just seems like that's probably not happening, at least from the outset. So yeah, like if you can go get me one more veteran starter to cap off this offseason, I think it's pretty good job, I think.
Yeah, and we talked about this, I mean, we were actually able as a full, Future Sox collective yesterday. We're able to actually talk about, people mentioning that Schultz and Hagen Smith could possibly make the team out of spring training. And I don't think, both you and I are in the same. I think pretty much all of us were in the same thing that I don't think that's going to happen. But the thing is that you've got multiple starters on the big league club and you're trying to piece together starter number 4B and 5, because I mean it depends on how you feel that guys perform in spring training and how you feel that their stuff looks going into the year. Um, we're probably not going to see those guys for at least, even if Schultz comes out of the gate looking like the guy that we all think he is, he's still probably not going to start the season with the Sox.
No. No, and honestly, like I think we kind of talked about this a little bit last night too. Like it just depends, right? But I wouldn't be surprised if Hagen beat Schultz to the big league still. Just because I feel like I just like feel like they sent Schultz to Charlotte like with a purpose, right? Like there were some things that they wanted him to work on. They wanted to see like they changed the pitch mix. There was like some stuff they wanted to see, right? To me, like Hagen Smith kind of is what he is. Like if Hagen Smith goes to double A or triple A and he looks like he did in the Arizona Fall League and like nobody hits him, like there's just like no reason to wait. Like I just like don't really see the purpose. Whereas like you could convince me that 8 to 10 starts like might do Schultz like some good. And that's not even like a service time argument. It's just, there's like a few more things we want to see like before we do it. I just like Hagen like is gonna throw fastball slider in the high minors and like, if you want to see him throw changeups and some of this other stuff, like I think it's gonna have to happen in the big league. So I wouldn't be totally shocked if, I mean I do think it's like Tanner first because he's on the 40 man. Um, but it's fine.
Yeah, I so and like yes, you can win the extra pick with winning rookie of the year, and that you're supposed to bring guys up earlier so you can be eligible, so that person can be eligible to win that award. But unless you're having a Paul Skeens type year, the odds of winning rookie of the year as a pitcher are like slim and none almost. Like like most of the time, even the best ones still come in like second or third place.
Yeah, it's like really tough, and there's like lots of position players that are, that are pretty good. I think the National League race is probably more intense. Murakami is technically rookie eligible. He's not on prospect lists, but he could win Rookie of the Year. Um, so yeah, I mean, there's a lot of guys in the AL. So I just Seems like some people are upset they don't like that. But I mean, don't you want Hagen Smith to be good? I didn't say they'd bring him up if he was bad. I mean, if he looks like the guy early in the year, he's not coming up like anytime soon. I just, from what I've heard about people that saw him towards the end and he looked more similar to the guy they drafted, I just don't really understand the point, guys. Like this was like they took this guy over Connor Griffin and JJ Weatherholt, right? Like it was supposed to be like super quick to the majors. So if he looks like that guy, just bring him up.
Yeah. Well, Uncle Ted says he's going to be an all-star this year. So
Great. That would be fantastic, Uncle
I'm
Ted.
riding with Uncle Ted. Hagen will be an all-star this year. That it's going to have to be the number one pitcher probably. The one starter is going to take over for Shane Smith.
Yeah. Jeez. That's funny.
All right. So, do you want to move to the NRIs?
Yeah, we could talk about I mean, is there any well, actually no. So like the weird what do you make of this Boston trade and how weird it is?
I
Like the
mean,
back end of it, like the player to be named later part. And like when does this like is this we can share what we joked about in the group chat,
okay.
but
All right. Yeah.
also like is it just a matter of like is it 40-man guys and the Sox like need a week to put 4 guys on the 60-day to create space? Is it like give us these 2 DSL guys like off of a list of 10 guys? Like it's just kind of cuz that's what it usually is. It's usually like, "Hey, we need a little bit more. We'll give you a list, but let's make the deal now so we can do our other stuff," right? That's usually what player to be named laters are, but it's weird. You don't usually get 2 for 1. Like it's just the whole thing's like kind of wacky.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. Player to be named later is always kind of weird. Like I feel like it's always strange. Like, is it that you give them like three names and like if some guy doesn't like pop off and jump to their top five prospects, like that still works, or is it that you come July that they give you like a little like a hat and then you reach in and you pull out two pieces of paper and you get whatever prospects you grab out of the hat. I don't know. It's
Right. Well,
it's hard to.
there were some rumblings that this deal was like close and then, I had heard and some others had heard that there was like some medical questions about one of the players or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like could that be what could it be like okay, like we're fine with these medicals, I guess, if you eat more money, but you owe us 2 more guys and we'll figure it out later. We can both go on with our business. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just kind of weird. Elijah, I think, was it Elijah in the group chat that brought up? So,
I think it was
like,
Dylan.
Dylan, yeah, like,
Yeah.
brought up, like, whether it's like some like weird, like, wraparound way to end up with Jetix and Paez somehow, like, like as a player to be named later, like, so then you could send him to the minors. That would be cool. And then I joked that it would be funny if it was Paez and Shane Drohan, who they took 2 years ago in the Rule 5 draft from Boston. So I don't know. It's kinda interesting. I'm expecting the guy that they trade to be somebody we really like though, just because.
Just because that's the way it usually
Yeah,
seems to
yeah,
work.
right. It's gonna be like one of these. It's gonna be like Eli Brown, and I'm gonna be like, son of a.
Yeah, it's one of those guys that just plays the game with his hair on fire and that we actually enjoy watching, and there he goes off into the sunset. Uh there's all sorts of stuff going on. This chat's been popping tonight.
It is, yeah.
Carrie brings up Elko is due back by June. Heck yeah.
Okay, so
See
he's
the
an
captain.
NRI, so he's not really
Yep.
an NRI then, because he's just gonna be like rehabbing basically.
Yeah, so I see, like, that's the thing is that when and this is
Mason too is one of them, right?
yeah, there's I mean, I'm just gonna go ahead and bring it up.
Yeah.
So look at the list here. There's quite a few guys that are coming off of, fairly significant injuries. You know, Elko and Mason Adams being the two main ones, I guess. I know that Mason Adams is throwing off of a mound. I don't know exactly where he's at in his rehab. Um, so there's that. Like, I don't know if he's coming to spring training and pitching. Like, are they just continuing his rehab and getting some time with the coaches while he's healing up? Like, I genuinely don't know. So
Yeah. I mean, that would be my guess. I mean, looking at this, so it's like one catcher, Michael Turner. So now they have four because they did what they DFA Drew Romo today, which I thought was a little bit interesting because I thought he was one they'd want to keep. My guess is they're just gonna try to see if he clears waivers. I think they're hoping that he'll clear, obviously, and then he would just get added to the NRI list. And then what the other one we kind of talked about, Jairo Iriarte too. We didn't really get into, but
yeah.
those are the two guys that are out in limbo right now. But yeah, this is a bit of an interesting list. I mean, we were um kind of saying, we knew some of these names already, right? They kind of like start to leak out one at a time. Jared Kelenic and Lamond Wade Jr. and like some of these other guys. And then the one thing too that I always like to point out is so there's all these players plus all of their 40-man roster players, right? So like a player like Tanner McDougal isn't listed on this NRI press release, but he's in big league camp because he's like already on the 40-man.
Yeah. Yeah, I was actually talking to Jeff earlier today. Like, how disinterested do you think would Lamont Wade be in playing in Charlotte?
Yeah, but like if you look like they don't have any outfielders anywhere. So I mean like Derek Hill is on like that two-way deal. So if Derek Hill is in Charlotte, I wouldn't be surprised, but I mean like Jared Kelenic could theoretically be there and like some of these other guys, Dustin Harris, like so it typically happens. Like if these guys don't make the team, the non like old veterans usually just go to AAA. Obviously, if it's the Joey Gallows of the world, like don't go to AAA. But this group
Joey
probably
Gallo might
will.
be in AAA this year as a pitcher.
Pitching, yeah, he might be there pitching.
Yeah, it's you look at this list of NRIs here, and you see the the guys the some of these pitchers. You've got like the entire Birmingham Barons rotation going to spring training this year. Shane Murphy, Noah Schultz, Tyler Schweitzer, Hagen Smith, and you got Mason Adams, and of course you have to have your Tyler Davis as well.
Yeah, your guy.
Yeah.
So I wonder, do you think Thorpe, Mason Adams, and Kai Bush, if Kai Bush like makes it that far, those guys go right on the 60-day DL to free
See,
up three spots?
yeah. See, this is the tough thing. You've I don't know. Like I've seen a couple of videos of guys pitching, but I don't know how close they are to actually having innings. Like I know for like I already have dates that some of our guys are getting an inning in spring training. Like
Right.
I already have those. But for them, I haven't heard anything like that yet. So I have to imagine that they're not ready yet, and we're probably looking at like May or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Thorpe would be more like June. But yeah, I mean, even if Adams were also June, right? I mean, he's going to be on the 60-day DL most likely, so you're not going to worry about it, and then he'll go to Charlotte most likely.
Yeah.
So it's really not 22 players because some of these guys like aren't going to be available to them like at the start. So there were
Yeah.
some questions here about Antonacci. So yes, apparently Antonacci's
Yeah.
playing for Team Italy in the WBC. Good for him. So that part's cool. We talked to him. Antonacci was making the rounds. Um, you know, seemed like he got his money's worth this weekend, like with the talking and some of the stuff that he had to do. And
Yeah.
it's come a long way, man, from what 2.5 years ago being like one of the better JUCO players in the country to 1 year at Coastal
Heartland.
Carolina to
Yeah.
knocking on the door of the big leagues. And I think the next thing
Insane.
to look for with him is just whether or not there's more position flexibility for him, right? I think it's mostly third and second, but the way this roster is, if there's some outfield work coming, like I wouldn't be terribly surprised by that.
Yeah. I know I missed a super chat here. I'm gonna bring that up. Wolf Larson says, "Does Teal's 20 pound of muscle help or hurt his catching defense? Did any other players bulk up in the offseason?" I
Uh,
mean, I don't know. Did you see the explosivity drills that Kyle Teal was doing
yes,
on Twitter?
yes, yeah. I think he looked fine. I mean,
He did, yeah.
yeah, I couldn't really. I think Miguel Vargas looks noticeably bigger.
I don't think so. I think it was his
Yeah,
pants.
you think so? You think it's
I
the
think so.
pants?
He was wearing those Jinko jeans
The
from
moon
like
pants? Yeah, like when I used to wear Jinko jeans and like a corn t-shirt, like in
yeah,
like
it's like
middle school.
he's
Yes.
going to a rave after SoxFest. The
Yeah.
after party was actually going to be what was that? DJ Bass Monkey
Mhm.
gonna be
Yeah.
DJing over there
Yeah.
with 20 extra pounds of muscle.
That's funny.
Um and Maddie Mitch says this show accompanies on my drive to work on Sunday nights. Keep up the good work. So ready for spring training to start. Thank you so much, Maddie. We appreciate you. Thanks for chiming in. Um,
So what do we think, man? You think the roster's done? Is this it?
I I kind of do. I know that you are saying something about a veteran pitcher. I mean, what does that even look like at this point? Like who are they going to bring in? Like Dick Mountain, you know?
I mean, what about like the Griffin Canning idea, Like
Hey, I'm all for that.
so
I
I
just
heard
it's
I mean, I had heard Zach Littell throughout the offseason. I just thought that guy would be 10 million, 12 million. And at this point, like I'd kind of be surprised if they spent that much.
yeah, that's what I'm
Um,
saying. Yeah.
and I mean, like you got Framber out there, like Uncle Ted saying. I will say, like the White Sox are not forfeiting the 41st pick in the draft to sign Framber Valdez, especially after like talking to Mike Shirley last night. Like that dude's pretty excited about, you know, having a pick that have second pick like that high basically. But I mean, yeah, I mean you got Framber and Gallon out there, and then you got a bunch of dudes under them who are backup plans for the teams that are in on Framber and Gallon. You got Giolito, there's Chris Bassett, there's Littell, and spring training soon. Like these guys should start flying off the board. Like, can the White Sox land one of them? Maybe, but
Yeah, as James mentions in here that Canning's not ready yet. I don't think he's ready until May or June or something like that, if I remember correctly.
all right, add them to the
So
pile.
that might be why. But I mean, if that's the case, go ahead
Yeah,
and just sign him and get
yeah,
him for cheaper, I guess, right?
yeah. Yeah, Uncle Ted, I mean, it's a 41st pick or an ace. Like, I get it. It's just not really time for that, in my opinion. I mean, I think if the White Sox get an ace, it's going to be internally, and then we'll see. Yeah, people keep giving like Nick Ramirez, Walker Bueller,
I was
Herman
just gonna
Marquez.
say
There are so
Elijah was
many
talking to me about
names.
Nick Ramirez last night.
Even like Patrick Corbin would be super cheap. Like, that would be fine. It's like, whatever. Like
I
some
don't
of these
know.
guys,
Patrick
I
Corbin.
mean, do you think
Oof.
some of these guys are going to be non-roster guys somewhere?
I mean, they have to be, right? Like
You would think so. I mean,
somebody's gonna invite
I
them
feel like they're all going to take
somewhere.
1-year deals with quasi contenders or contenders. So, yeah, it's crazy, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Uncle Ted says we have 2 years of Mooney. Don't waste them.
Okay. I
Hey,
mean, they're
I mean,
they
I can get on board with that. I
sure,
actually,
sure.
like as the kids will say, low key, I think that Chris Getz is doing a really nice job turning this roster over and actually making it interesting. I feel like the amount of churn that he's done has actually likely actually done something for the White Sox. I think could be that it fails horribly, but to me, it looks like at least he's making an effort to try and put some competent pieces on the roster.
Yeah. For sure. I think it's been a pretty solid offseason depending on what you thought of like Luis Robert, right? And that
Yeah,
trade and what they should have done. So I was of the mind at this point that like if you could get something, useful, they should do it. I think they did that. And then yeah, they've like reallocated the money. So I think it's definitely a more interesting team. While they're not like out there like trying to win a division necessarily, like it is frustrating when, some of the young guys come up and they play well and they basically do whatever they can to win a baseball game and then like your bullpen blows it every night. So
Oh
the
man, yeah.
fact that now they might be able to hold leads, I think is cool, right? Cuz look, there's no reason to root for, your guys to play well and then them to like lose the game in the end. You don't get anything out of it. Like you're very likely going to have the 10th pick in the draft like no matter what. So like it doesn't matter. Like try to win as many
Yeah.
games as possible.
Yeah, at this point, unless I guess you could wait a year and then tank again, but I'm not trying to hear all that. So
Yeah, no, I don't. I just like don't think it's necessary. I'll get into the Big Frank thing. And I'm sure Ian has thoughts on it too. We'll do it at
I've
like
I've
the
thought about it. Yeah,
we can do it at the end.
I just wanted to bring up this thing here, this park factor thing that BA put out today, and perched mightily
Yeah,
above the entire of the PCL and the International League sits Truist Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina. So when you see that not only A, are they playing with a different baseball, but they also have a plus 18 park factor, now you know why pitchers, A, don't want to go there, and B, also struggle.
yeah, it's like worse than a what you said. It's worse than a PCL park, right? So
It's
yeah,
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 the so and actually I found this kind of interesting, okay? So you have Charlotte that's like head and shoulders above all of the other parks. But if you look as you cruise down this list, you've got quite a few PCL, and then you got a couple of international leagues as well. But the majority of the parks that the Knights play in that aren't their own park are in either in the middle or in the very dark blue down on the bottom. And I found that to be kind of interesting.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
Especially when you look down and see Gwinnett down there and see that they are, it's hard to hit there. And what was the other one I was looking at? Um, the other one that we play at, oh yeah, the Nashville Sounds.
oh yeah, yeah.
And
Whew.
and then you go, oh well, maybe that's why the Brewers pitchers look so good in AAA. But then also Shane Smith came up from the Brewers and was the only All Star. So there you go.
Yeah,
I just
and
wanted
I
to
think
bring
it's
that
gonna
up.
be interesting to see where they decide to send some of the pitchers too. Like you have McDougal, you'll have Schultz, and you'll have Hagen. Like what do you decide to do with those guys? Like do you want them in Charlotte? Do you not want them in Charlotte? Like does it matter? So I think that'll be kind of interesting.
Yeah. Um,
Doug asked about the Rule 5 picks. So that's what uh, Alexander Alberto and Jetix and Paez. I
yep.
think they're going to do everything they can to like sneak Paez onto the team and try to keep him all year because I think they think that's a guy with a ton of upside that like has the ability to start. I do think it looks kind of dicey though for Alberto right now. I don't really know how he makes it.
Yeah, that one's going to be a tough one. Like the only thing that you could possibly see is that maybe he has a giant chunk taken out of his leg, like the other Alexander Albertus,
Oh yeah, yeah. He who does
and
not
maybe he
exist.
sticks.
Actually, yes.
Yeah. Um, yeah, we kind of wondered like how they were going to remotely be able to keep these two guys that haven't pitched above advanced day on the major league 26-man roster. It's going to be tough.
Yeah.
And even, we keep on having this conversation that even though it seems like you've got a bunch of the same guys on the roster, because you have them and you don't want to get rid of them because they are, useful pieces, it stops you from doing other things. So I don't know that they necessarily try and keep Alberto, in instead of somebody else, just to keep him on and hold somebody else down for a couple
Yeah.
months. I don't
I
know.
do think they'll probably keep him, like, through camp, but it's just I mean, it's getting kinda crowded back there, you know? I mean, you have guys like, there are guys with options that can go down, right? But so, we'll see. I mean, usually it's like a decision at the end of spring, but they don't usually have 2 Rule 5 players.
Yeah.
Kev, we talked about Austin Hayes a little bit. Yeah, I think it's fine. I think he murders lefties, which I think is good. It's like something they needed. I do think he'll also play against righties. He's had a lot of injuries. He's got history with Ryan Fuller, I think, which is probably part of the gig. I
Yep.
think he had interest elsewhere, but there's runway here, as Chris Getz likes to say. So yeah, I think Austin Hayes is probably going to play a ton.
Yep. I would kind of figure. All right. So we got about 5 minutes left here. Do you want to talk about this
Do you have
Frank
the
Thomas thing
Do
here?
you have the graphic or no?
Let me grab it. I will grab it right now.
So it's February 1st, right? Black History Month. I don't know if every team like does one of these, like whatever, right? Like it's a pro sports thing. Like they tweeted out like a bunch of things for like Black History Month, right? Where it's like they created this graphic and it was like, Harold Baines was the first overall pick and he's in the Hall of Fame. And there's like some Kenny Williams stuff, like first black executive to win a World Series and all this other stuff, right? But there's like one massive oversight. And there's a few, right? Like, I don't know if there's like Jermaine Dye. There were people pointing out some other things. There's like no real mention of Frank Thomas on there anywhere, who's the best player in franchise history. Now, what it does say, something about Dick Allen's MVP, and then it notes like Frank Thomas also did. But I mean,
Yeah.
like Frank Thomas won back-to-back MVPs. What he was the first, he has the most homers in franchise history. Like there's all sorts of stuff you could have put on this graphic to like not piss off like the, best player in the history of your franchise.
Who's also on your post game?
Yeah, and like I only brought this up. Like, look, I probably wouldn't have noticed, right?
Yeah.
But Frank replied to it.
Yeah.
Like where he was like not thrilled, obviously, like about this whole thing. And
Would you
you
like
know,
me to read his reply?
yeah, I was trying to find it.
It says, "I guess the black player who made you rich over there and holds all your records is forgettable. Don't worry, I'm taking receipts."
Yeah, so
Good lord.
like how does this happen, right? I mean, it's like
I,
look, I think like it's degrading when people are like, oh, it's like some intern screwed up, right? Like, no, like they have social media people that like do this for like a living, right? So it's an oversight somewhere, but it can't happen. It just can't happen. Like, what are you doing?
I have no idea. And the only mention of him is on
Yeah, it's
the
with Dick
bullet
Allen.
point.
Yeah,
Yeah, it says where is it? It's a MVP. Dick Allen becomes the first black player in White Sox history to win AL MVP honors. Frank Thomas joined Allen as MVP in 93-94. But there's no picture. It's a picture of Dick Allen.
right,
Uh yeah, that was a choice. I don't know what they were thinking. I don't It's tough.
right.
That's a tough look.
Yeah, I mean, it's not great. And just like I don't know. Like I'm too young for Bo Jackson, right? Like I know like Bo Jackson was one of the, best athletes of all time, right? But White Sox Bo Jackson like gets like so much, like it was like kind of at the end. There's like a 114 WRC plus in there, but he never put up a one WAR season with the White Sox. Like I just,
This was after
it's just
his hip
it's
bone died and
oh
had to be
yeah. Oh
replaced.
yeah, I know that. Like it's like not his fault.
No,
I just feel
100%,
like
100%.
it's like people are like, "Oh, Bo Jack," like okay. Like Frank Thomas is a reason why I'm a White Sox fan. Like, what are we
There's a
doing?
lot of those, yeah.
Like, that guy was a superhero, like, when I was a kid. It just like, I don't wanna be this guy. I just got done praising Brooks Boyer,
Yeah.
and this might not be his purview, right?
Yeah, no, for sure.
But,
And,
like,
yeah, no, it's bad.
how does this happen?
I don't know. Adrian says that, "Please, White Sox, let me run your socials." I mean, I'd be sad to lose
I
you,
mean, you see the
Adrian, but
work, yeah,
it's a
like,
good
if
job.
anybody's following the FutureSox account, like, over the last month, like, that's that's our man Adrian here. Like, I think he could probably do a better job. He's doing a bang up job.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. All right, so I think that's,
I just yeah, I don't
that's
know.
it for the week
I
here.
was, like, feeling all good about the White Sox too, and then I'm like, "Ugh, 1 step forward, 2 step," and here I don't even know that it's, like, anybody's fault. It just can't happen. Like, I mean, you don't even have, like, Jermaine Dye World Series MVP on there. Like, there's so many obvious ones, right? So, maybe just don't put out anything. And then, like,
Yeah, uh, what are you gonna do? We'll just shake our heads. That's all we can do. So for all of you people that we met out and all the people we ran into out at SoxFest and at Reggie's, thanks for saying hello. Weekend was a blast. Thanks for hosting that event 108. That was awesome. Obviously, thank you, White Sox, for SoxFest. Thanks for having us to do the podcast. The audio and the video for that will drop tomorrow morning. We wanted to hop on and do our podcast first before that came out, just so we could kind of chat about it a little bit. But that stuff will pop up. Thank you guys for coming and hopping in the stream and making all the comments. The chat was flying tonight. We appreciate you guys. Thanks for the super chats, guys. We appreciate it. All right, I'm gonna walk us out. You have been watching / listening to the Future Sox podcast, part of the Just Baseball Media Network. If you are listening to this in podcast form, know that you can find us every Sunday night at 8 p.m. on YouTube and the Purple app. You can also find this podcast along with all of our written content at futuresox.net. If you are looking for White Sox prospect highlights, you can find them on X at FutureSox and now also here on our YouTube channel. If you love the content and want to support us here at FutureSox, there is a link to our Patreon in our channel description and at futuresox.net. You can also toss up a super chat on our YouTube stream. Also, don't forget to like this stream and subscribe with notifications so you know when we're going live while helping us in the World Wide Web algorithms. My name is Ian Eskridge at Daily White Sox. He is James Fox at James Fox 917. We appreciate all of you. Thanks for listening. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for banging in the chat tonight. It was great. We appreciate you guys. Have a great night. We'll catch up with you next week. Thanks.